Many of us are prone to catastrophic thinking. Every time we say the wrong thing or fail an exam, you chicken out of asking that hot person at the coffee shop on for a date, we lose money or blow an amazing opportunity or mess up with our partner, we kick ourselves mentally as we lie awake in bed at night, internally berating ourselves for always ruining everything. We all have a moment when we think to ourselves, I've ruined my life. And this is my story of how I ruined mine. So, it's officially coming up to the 3rd-year anniversary of me ruining my life. I applied for a PhD, and everything in my life has fallen apart since. Because I'm not funded, I had to find a way to make a full-time income as a single person whilst also studying, which resulted in me becoming a full-time YouTuber. And the money isn't great, to say the least. In just 10 months alone, I've lost over a quarter of my savings. I don't even live paycheck to paycheck. I live paycheck to paycheck plus savings, which is really fun. I've also learned the hard way that many people aren't very supportive of you at the start of a PhD. I found it really weird that some people actually get competitive or jealous and go as so far as to try and sabotage your academic, credentials or possibilities or opportunities, whilst others don't take your time seriously and they just presume that you're working from home means you're free all the time, weekdays mean nothing to you, and you don't really have to work because what you do isn't really work. I've seen firsthand how so few people respected that I worked for myself, and they seemed to take me less seriously, that I was my own boss rather than when I was a freelancer working for someone else. So, on paper, it would be safe to say that I ruined my life. I have less money, stupidly much less money. My savings have basically gone. I have much less free time, there's fewer people in my life, I have no academic cohort, and a practically non-existent social life. All for a personal academic pursuit that I'm blowing my own savings on, that will never give me financial return that I invested in it, and offers zero job prospects. And I've honestly never been happier. I spent nearly 3 decades of my life as a people-pleasing doormat with no boundaries. I put my heart and soul into helping other people succeed in their businesses and their mental health and academia and personal growth, all at the expense of my own. And I kept myself small to make other people feel better about themselves and comfortable around me. I hid my personality and diminished my abilities and accomplishments. I withheld my feelings when people hurt me, and I put up with other people's bad behaviours because I wanted to help them feel better about themselves, all at the cost of my own mental well-being and self-esteem. So when I say I ruined my life, it was the moment I decided to put myself and my own welfare and dreams first. I set hard boundaries and removed myself from people who brought negativity into my life or hurt my mental well-being. I'm not going to sit here and say that the past 3 years have been, the hardest and most challenging of my life, because they haven't been. I have been through so much worse. But I can say that the past 3 years have been the most necessary and transformative of my life. And I'm so happy I ruined the life that I had 3 years prior. I feel fantastic. My mental health has never been this good, nor has my body. And the relationships that I do have in my life, the platonic ones, the familiar ones, the romantic ones, are genuinely, again, the greatest I've ever had. And I love having those people in my life. I can safely say now, 3 years later, that I no longer struggle with crippling depression and anxiety that had haunted me my whole life. And I didn't have to take anything to make it go away. All I had to do was be my truest self and authentic self. And I lived the life I wanted and stand up for myself and finally see the value that I have to offer for this world and protect it at all costs. And that means protecting it against other people and not allowing it to be trampled. My PhD journey so far has been minimally about what I've researched, if I'm perfectly honest. I feel like academia has taken a backseat for the first formal year. For those unfamiliar, I'm doing part-time, so my first year takes place over 2 years. So my first year, which was 2 years, basically was dedicated to me cleansing myself and decluttering everything that was holding me back, from my mindsets to people to bad habits. And everyone tells you that your PhD journey has little to do with what you write and more to do with who you become as a researcher. And so far, I can't disagree with that sentiment. So I'm about to start my second year, and it's so weird to think how different I am from who I was 2 years ago. It's quite unnerving, but it's also quite exciting to see who I'll be by the end of my second year and then by the end of my third. Do I feel stressed and worried about things like money or work or my studies? Yes, of course, but my emotions are no longer debilitating. I may not be rich or have the perfect minimalist little apartment, clearly, with pretty morning routines and a coffee machine that's so clean that it looks like it just came out of the box. I boil my water for my tea in an old pan on the stove. And I don't drink fancy loose leaf tea either. I reuse tea bags twice, and I buy them from Lidl. The mint tea at Lidl's very good. And what's also interesting is I'm not the quintessential obsessive student who studies every waking moment. I love academia, but I am so grateful that my life doesn't revolve around it. It's not all-consuming. She says having literally a career in academia, technically in a way, writing video essays and doing a PhD, but still, I do my studies when I want to. I work at my own pace, so for however many hours I feel like I can manage it, and I stop when it's no longer enjoyable. And I do this because me in my 30s compared to me in my 20s is a very different person. In my 30s, I don't need to prove my intelligence or academic potential to anyone. I don't have to prove anything to you or anyone else. You don't have to believe in my ability. The only people that has to believe in my ability is me and my supervisor. We're the only ones who matter in that part of my story. And yes, that's my story. It's not perfect. It's not minimalist or super tidy, clearly. And it's not run militantly with every minute of every hour scheduled in a calendar. It's certainly not financially stable, to say the least. But you know what? It's rich with so much more. It's rich with incredible relationships and love and books and little nuggets of information and laughter and growth and, most importantly, inner peace and dogs. So according to the productivity world, I've technically ruined my life. But I'm an ancient history student and I'm in love with ruins. And to say the least, I'm very much in love with the ruins of my life so far. So if you're interested in following an imperfect, pretty relaxed and mentally secure productivity blog channel, etc., then please consider subscribing to this channel and my newsletter, because I'll be sharing insights into all the lessons that I've learned over the past few years, from mindful productivity to realistic money management and academic study and research techniques that I've learned myself, and I'll show you how I learned how to adapt to these techniques, because research is very unique, and we'll get into that over many, many different videos. But also, if you have any requests for any of those topics, money, finances, personal life, personal growth, academia, then there is actually a little form down below in the description box, so you can send your requests to me, and I will do a video on it. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of these weekly videos. They will come out every Friday, so look out for those in your inbox, and I will see you soon for another video. And remember, books save lives, so keep reading.